Hello and welcome to GrocerPod. My name's Sean Kosednar. This week I have another conversation from Innovation Showcase. I sat down with Adam Zimmerman from Ideal. We talked about the company's rebranding. We also talked about how Ideal can help AWG members looking for a way to move away from printed weekly ads. But before we get to Adam, I want to remind you to please subscribe to GrocerPod. Subscribing means new episodes will be downloaded for you each week. You can find GrocerPod on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, or any other platform you use to listen to podcasts. And now, here's my conversation with Adam Zimmerman. Next up, I'm joined by Adam Zimmerman from Ideal. Adam, how are you finding the show so far?
Love the show. Honestly, we make it to a lot of shows throughout the year, but this is always my favorite, mostly because the food is so much better. Food at shows is not typically great, but Kansas City does the best food for sure.
Well, I second that. I definitely eat way too much while I'm here.
Agreed.
Adam, so introduce you as Adam Zimmerman from Ideal. Other people might know Ideal as Ideal by Design House. Correct. Or just Design House. So
Correct.
Why don't you talk people through what that change is real quick?
So we used to be a traditional advertising agency, and for many years we did a lot of digital content creation, a lot of media buying. But back in the beginning of 2019, we came up with an idea for a digital circular. We launched it in the hardware space, and then we came to our first NGA show February 2020, just before COVID shut down. And that was when we were still kind of an agency, but we had this idea about this platform. We called it Ideal. And about 6 months after launching that was really all we did. So now we're just an ad tech company, and we only do this one thing, this Ideal platform. And so the name change has a lot to do with just allowing people to understand that we're more of a tech company than we are an ad agency today.
I gotcha. Now, talk to me about that platform and what it means for our member retailers.
Absolutely. So, digital circulars have been around for a long time, but they have typically been just an offshoot of print. So the two major issues, one is a digital circular is really a PDF file typically. And that was okay when most people are on desktop. But now that most people are on a mobile phone, it's a difficult experience to zoom in and out of a PDF file on a tiny little screen. So the first major change we made was doing away completely with the PDF file. Our system is dynamic. It's driven from a database. It has animation and video and recipe. It integrates with e-commerce and digital coupons, and it's a very different user experience, very friendly on a mobile device, friendly anywhere, but most people, of course, on mobile. The second major difference is that a digital circular is typically not distributed. It's really a passive marketing platform. It sits on the retailer's site. Loyal customers come to find it on their own. Maybe the retailer drives traffic there from email or social media, but most customers don't see it, and no competitor customer would ever go to a random retailer website to find it. And so we distribute the circular digitally. We build a system that targets specifically the customers that regularly shop that store and targets customers that regularly shop each competitor store, serving them ads in apps and website that they're on, driving traffic to the circular, and then we follow that traffic back to the store so that we can report to the retailer, how much traffic we drove, how many new customers, how many regular customers, of the new customers, where did they come from? How many came from this specific Walmart and that specific Aldi? And so it allows a retailer to really transition from a print ecosystem to a digital ecosystem, and allow them to not lose any sales and really build better loyalty and build better ability to conquest.
When I started at AWG in 2016, my first task was uploading those PDFs to websites for, quote, digital circulars.
Correct.
And so I know all about this.
Yes.
And everything that you just laid out is what I hoped that I could have actually been providing to the retailers that were having me do this.
We feel super strongly that the weekly ad is the most important communication vehicle for retailers, especially independent retailers. If you think about, one of the biggest things that independents are up against is just price, right? Is that, hey, I get an option, 20 miles away where I can get this thing cheaper, Walmart, right? And we don't want customers to do that, right? A regular occurrence is for someone to shop their independent in their town, 2-3 times a week, get all their regular little things, but then every Saturday or every Sunday, drive 20 minutes away to some other, bigger store. And we want to stop that. We want to stop that behavior. And unless the regular communication exists so that the customers in that town understand, hey, there are good prices at my store here in my town. And those items are the items that I buy every week that I might buy down the street at Walmart. I just might rather stay in my town. They would always prefer to do their business locally. The only thing that drives them away is price. And so if we can keep that price story coming and keep it coming on a regular basis, the independent will continue to succeed. So as the print industry is really been dying over the last 5 to 10 years, we're seeing more and more stores pull away from print, which means that the price for everyone else is continuing to increase. A need exists for this transition into digital, and a need exists for a distribution system in digital, because to create it is not enough. You've got to get the word out there to other people.
Yeah, I think that distribution is really the key part. What it is doing is landing in everyone's mailbox every Wednesday, and they don't have to worry about it. And then it's, if I'm not going to do that, how am I going to get them the ads? So that distribution is great. What do retailers need to do to make that distribution happen?
Good question. So honestly, we work with them to do two things. One, we set up a weekly production cycle. So they give us basically the content that's going to be in the ad next week. All we really need is a list of items and prices, and then we create the circular. On the distribution side, we work with them to agree to a budget. The budget can be a wide range. It could be a small budget, could be a big budget. For a retailer that's transitioning completely from print to digital, we recommend a budget somewhere around half of what it was in print. But a retailer that's continuing to run digital, we want to just set a minimum budget to get it up and running. They don't need to do a whole lot, other than we want them to work with us to determine who are the competitor customers in that area. So we will tell them who we think the competitor stores are, but they know their area obviously far better than we do. So it's very important to have local input to tell us, hey, this one over here, really not a competitor, but this one over here you missed, this one needs to be on our list. And we can change that list, of course, every month and update it. But input from the retailer on who we are targeting on the competitor side, super important.
Where does that consumer data come from? Is that from a loyalty program that the store has to have, or?
That's a great question. That's a really great question. So no, in fact, a lot of our retailers don't have loyalty at all. We see 8 out of 10 mobile devices and their physical location all the time. And so what we do is we actually blueprint the retailer stores and their competitor stores. What does it mean to blueprint it? And it's just a word we use. Imagine kind of zooming in on a Google map and looking at the store from the top and drawing a line around the wall of the store. And because we can see those mobile devices, we understand which mobile devices are in the store and which are outside the store. That allows us to build an audience of the regular customers from that store. We do the same thing, of course, for each competitive store. So basically, in our system, we have a database of grocery shoppers in your community, not just the fact that they shop grocery, but specifically which stores and with which frequency.
That's very cool, and I would imagine makes things very easy for the retailer.
It does.
Before I let you go, what are when people come to your booth here at the showcase, what are they most interested in? What's the hot topic
Honestly,
that they're asking about?
It did not used to be this way, but the thing they're most interested in now is just moving away from print, is that they've been feeling the pain. It's scary, right? Because print is something that's been done for many decades, and the idea of not having it be the same as it's been before is scary. But that's the first thing that they ask now is how can I transition away from print? We like to recommend a longer transition process, like 4 to 6 months, because we're really focused on the customers who are engaged with print today. You can imagine, you've got a store sending out 20,000 copies a week to the community. You can put those recipients into 2 categories, those that read it and those that don't. Our focus is those that read it, right? We want them to be able to transition from print to digital as seamlessly and smoothly as possible and maintain a high level of customer engagement. So that's the main focus, is how can you help me move away from print?
You mentioned that most of your retailers don't have a loyalty program. For the ones that do, is there a way to integrate that into what you do?
That's a great question. Yeah, so they could use AppCard or GiveX or really any possible option. Those are just 2 great companies that are here at the show. But we integrate with them. So it does a couple of different things. Number one, those companies produce digital coupons that are part of the loyalty program, and those coupons can live inside the circular. So obviously they can live on a circular page on the retailer's website as well, but on the digital circular page, they can integrate directly in there. And they could be a coupon by itself, or it could be a coupon layered on top of a retailer promotion, which is really helpful. And then they can be clipped directly from the circular. The other thing we're doing with those loyalty companies, and this is something we're in process with, and that is to build an integration to personalize the circular. Now, those companies have first-party data on the customers who shop the store, which means they see all this purchase history from each individual customer. So we could, for example, say, all right, of the 300 promotions running this week, which dozen are the most relevant to this one customer? Let's create a featured section just for them when they come to see the circular. And we can do that same thing with digital coupons and with which pictures we're choosing. And so the future of our world is a personalized experience using that first-party data for those loyalty customers, where they're really getting a much closer, more personalized experience of the weekly ad.
That sounds great, Adam. What do retailers that are interested need to do?
Honestly, just get in touch with us. We're obviously here at the show, but ideal.sale is a website, of course, you could go to and find us, or your local AWG rep certainly could get in touch with us. Big fans of AWG, glad to be here.
Perfect. I guess one other thing that came to mind, what is the lead time? If I had a print circular and I'm done with it, what's the lead time to get up and running with Ideal?
So we could be up and running if we had an emergency within a week. Typically we say, between 2 weeks and 4 weeks is a good normal, comfortable time to transition. But we could, in an emergency situation, turn it on really quickly. It's honestly not super complicated. We'd really just need to have a good sense of what's going to be on sale next week. And normally the weekly ad cycle is just 7 days. So 7 days from when it goes live, retailer gives us the content. A couple days later, we give them a proof. We make a couple changes and it goes live, and that just continues every week thereafter.
That sounds great. I highly encourage everyone to check out Ideal. Thanks for joining me today, Adam.
Thank you so much, Sean.
Thank you all for listening. I had tons of great conversations at Innovation Showcase, and I'm going to keep bringing them to you in the coming weeks. In the meantime, please remember to like and subscribe to GrocerPod. That way you can stay up to date on all the latest things going on around AWG. And until next week, this has been Sean Kosednar with GrocerPod.